I've been warning you guys for a long time now that of what was coming. I've been warning you. There's nobody that's been more of an advocate for you to make the adjustment based on the concerns that I've been expressing for a long time. When everybody was getting distracted with, Roe v. Wade and reparations and race wars, character wars, all of this stuff that's been bubbling up to the top for a long time. I was warning you. I was warning you years ago. I warned you the year before last. I warned you last year, and I warned you this year. And I've been beating this with a dead horse for a long time. Shout out to J Ben. I'm definitely going to be reading that super chat shortly. I've been warning you, and I told you that it is not a race war. It is not culture inspired. It is a class war. And the reason why a lot of you people, let's just be honest. I'm going to use Q's words. Let's just be honest. The reason why a lot of you people are now tuning into me and you coming back into the fold, even though you say that you didn't like me when you first met me, is because you know that I'm right. And see, the thing about being right is it's not about rubbing it in people's faces. It's about understanding what you're dealing with. All of these people that's been race hustling you for all of this time, all of these people that's been relationship hustling you for all of this time, I hope you feel scammed. And I'm not saying scammed in the sense that they gave you something or they sold you a bad product or you sent them some money and they didn't necessarily deliver on what it is that they said. I'm not talking about that type of scam. I'm talking about the wool continuously being pulled over your eyes and that you think that or you thought that before you started sticking around long enough. And see, the thing about being right, because I don't even like being right, because a lot of the times that I'm right about, it's right about the wrong things that's then going to happen to you. And as a result of it, you got to recover from it, right? And see, the thing about this is that it's all a distraction to keep you busy. Deep dive with me for a second, and we're going to really get into the show because this is a very, very, very important show. Of all of the shows that I've done this year, this is probably going to be the most insightful. It's probably going to be the most important one that you've seen this year so far. Okay? I think this is episode 180 of season 3, right? And so here's the thing. All of these problems that you see happening in society today, migrant crisis, inflation, presidents, crime. Chicago has recently enacted and is now implementing the no cash bail system, which is also part of something that I warned you about and I covered earlier in this year called the Safe T Act. We're going to cover it. We're going to go over it, right? They dropping off migrants over in Arizona. All of these problems are manufactured problems. This is something probably I shouldn't be talking about because this is the thing that's going to make you upset. But the reality is that I didn't create the problem. I'm just bringing visibility to it so that you can then capitalize from it because it's only going to be one of two options. You can't be in the middle of these manufactured problems. And the reason that they manufactured is because it allows for you to still stay distracted. And so if they can create a problem for you, they then create the idea behind the fact that they're the only ones that can solve it, which is the thing that then keeps people in power. Think about it on a job, right? Think about somebody that's thinking that their job is going to be lost or they're going to be outsourced or they're going to be outdated or they're going to be removed or the company is going to be able to do without them. The thing that they try to sell the company is that you need me. And so in order for them to be needed, a lot of times they create the problems that they then have to solve, or they don't go full throttle in solving a problem because they don't want the company to realize that they're really just not that needed in the organization. Most designers, most web developers, most software engineers, most cybersecurity professionals, I hate to break it to you, but they only do about 1 or 2 hours of work a day. Why do you think that they have 3 and 4 jobs and they making like close to $1 million as a result of it? What they're hoping and what people in society is doing. When I was on the plant floor and they told me to slow down because you're going to then make all of us have to do the rate. What they were trying to do was throttle the company and then prevent them from realizing that, hey, you really don't need us. You can do more with less. And so you can be way more profitable. And we need to mask this thing by saying that we need to focus on the people instead of focus on the profits of the company. And so we manufacture these problems, and it's the same thing with politics. It's the same thing with the migrant crisis. It's the same thing that the people keep selling you in order to continue to stay in office. I've seen it in my lifetime multiple different times with different presidents. They create a problem in order to make sure that they get in for a second term, and then they continue to do the same thing and make it exponentially worse for the person that comes after them. And so what you see is people keep going back and forth, and then you'll vote Republican, and then you'll go to Obama, Democrat. You'll go to Clinton, to Bush, to Obama, to Trump. Think about it. Why do we keep flip-flopping? Because the same problems keep being manufactured by a different organization or a different party that then plays on your emotions, that allows you to be distracted from the real problem. And the real problem is this, and it's always been the same problem. This is a class war. It is not a race war. It is not a culture war. Now, they may leverage your culture in order to keep you subdued and distracted from the thing that's really happening. But this is how you know it's really a class war. And this is how you know that things is really, really messed up, despite the numbers, the unemployment numbers. It's a white lie. Despite housing crisis, it's a white lie. Despite the lack of reparations, white lie. Debt, white lie. Housing issues, homelessness, white lie. This is how you know it's really bad. All of the indicators is pushing people to a state to where it creates unrest. Now, rappers can't even walk around with their chains on and showing the money phone because people are no longer inspired by it. They're no longer cool with it. They don't like to see it anymore. And when you floss now, they say that you're disconnected. See, it's no longer inspiration anymore. They're not doing it for inspirational purposes. Now, when you see somebody getting some money, it pisses you off. And when you create a level of dissension to where people start being or feeling like you're so disconnected, or they don't think that you got a finger on the pulse, or that you can relate to the regular people, or that this is what they really saying to you, it's no longer attainable for me. See, the difference in the way that they keep you inspired while also keeping you distracted, listen to me. The way that rich people keep you inspired and distracted, it's a powerful combination. The way that rich people keep you inspired and distracted at the same time is that they have to make you believe that it's possibility for you to then get to where they're at, while at the same time removing the ability for you to get there by keeping you distracted by your own self-ignorance. It's always a way. If they were able to do it, you are able to do it. And so they have to keep you inspired enough to not dislike them. They don't really want you to get in the door, because it then makes them more of an average person, and they have to be above you. They have to separate themselves. They got to be better than you. They don't really want you to get there, but they don't want you to be disgusted with them. And so they have to give you some level of inspiration and hope. Listen, when these rappers, the Meek Mills and all of these people, when they say, yeah, man, I got the money phone, I'm on a jet and all of this is for motivational purposes only, this ain't the stunt on y'all, it's a lie. It's the biggest lie that they ever sold you. Listen, they don't want you to get rich. When I was sitting there listening to the Puffy live stream on Earn Your Leisure, shout out to them boys on Earn Your Leisure, and he said, man, I want all of us to be billionaires. You don't really believe that, do you? Do you really believe that Puff want all of y'all, all 13.6% of whatever 340 million people are inside of the United States, all sitting on a boat inside of the ocean with a yacht just as big as his? You don't really believe that, do you? It's a sales tactic. It's the same tactic that politicians use, and it's the same thing that rich people have to use, because now they're starting to experience a level of discomfort amongst the people to where they don't want to see you win no more. See, people want to see you win as long as they believe that they can go along with you. But when they don't believe that they can go along with you, then it becomes a war, because then you're so disconnected that it's not even cool for you to even be doing that anymore. Why are you sitting there giving us any kind of insight on how it is that we can donate when you a billionaire? Give your own money. Why are you sitting there talking about what it is that we supposed to take a pay cut for, or why we shouldn't have 36 or 40% raises on the UAW? You made 30 million last year. When people start to compare themselves against you, It's a level of unrest and discomfort that now they have to figure out, because that's the thing that then creates the war, because people are starting to wake up and they're using their jealousy in order to express that emotion. And it's not necessarily the thing that's going to solve for the problem, but then it creates a problem or unrest from the people that's actually at the top. And so when people start to wake up, and when you start to educate them and you start to give them more insight and understanding, and they realize that it's a class war, it's only going to create one or two problems. Either they're going to be inspired to do more, or they're going to create an unrest, a situation where there's unrest, and they're going to want to come after you. Even if it does not benefit them, they will take from you. It's like the dude, listen, it's been happening in the hood every single day. And a lot of y'all are not connected. Y'all not really understanding. You're not really getting the message, but I'm going to bring it back around for you. Let me give you an example, a C student's example, right? If a dude in the hood, and this is on a microscopic level compared to what it is that's happening in society, it's now that the rest of society is now starting to understand it. Let's say you the dude in the hood that come up. Let's say you come up, you become successful, you make it out the projects, and you start to ride these big cars and the flashy cars or whatever, right? At first, when you first start to win, you drive down the streets and the kids is going to say, ooh, that's my car, that's my car, that's my car. But if you drive down the street long enough and ain't nobody else starting to get no money along with you, they going to stop looking at it as inspiration and they going to start looking at you as food. And that's why everybody that make it that came from the hood can't still live in the hood, because it turns from inspiration to jealousy, to dissension, to anger, to I'm going to take your stuff and you to come up. And even though I'm not going to necessarily maintain it, and the value of your life is significantly more than what it is that I robbed you for and took your life for, I don't care, because you should not have that amount and it should not be that wide of a gap. And they always using these terms, the wealth gap. The gap between the rich and the poor. 1% of the population owns 90% of the real estate. They're starting to use these terms in order to then distract you from the real issue. It's been a class war since the beginning of time. It's the haves and the have-nots. It's the reason why they keep raising taxes. What they don't realize, and what you don't realize, is that you're still being distracted because the middle class is the ones that's going to pay for all of the taxes that's being raised. So now everything is out of reach. Homes, out of reach. Cars, out of reach. Education, out of reach. Travel, out of reach. And the only reason that you're still inspired and you still running on this hamster wheel is because you have the credit. They distracted you with credit and the gamification to think that you still can get there in order to distract you from the fact that you're going to die broke. You're going to die broke because you still not getting it, and you still not understanding, and you still not paying attention to what's going on. You're not paying attention. You're not seeing it. You're not catching it. The thing that you have to do is divest yourself from the mentality that comes behind or comes with what it is that they're selling you. They're selling you poverty through inspiration. The UAW members are so disillusioned. And this is the thing that is really confusing me, because y'all will say, well, I can't believe you ain't on the side of the worker. No, I'm on the side of the idea that you shouldn't become interdependent on any company or the UAW in order to make sure that you're going to become successful and feed your family, because you're being distracted by the idea of a higher wage and you're still not going to be able to afford a house. You still not going to be able to put your kids through college. You still not going to be able to get the health care that your woman and your child need in order to solve for that cancer problem. You still not going to be able to do nothing. It's the thing that keeps you on a hamster wheel. It's a distraction. You're not paying attention to it, because the thing that you should be doing, which is the thing that I went off on old boy on in the first place. I said, listen, you're so immersed. Think about what the conversation was on Friday. I said, you are so immersed and so emotionally invested in making sure that y'all get a raise with the UAW that you're completely distracted from the fact that you should have never been in the plant for as long as you were in there in the first place. You was never supposed to be there for 30 years. You got handcuffed to it. And they not even golden handcuffs. They not platinum, they not gold, they not silver, they not even copper. You got on aluminum handcuffs, and it's the thing that keeps you just over broke. That's what job stands for to people like me. It's just over broke. You got just enough for you to not get too upset with the fact that you never gonna get out of that place ever in your life, because it's enough to keep you subdued from the thing that you're really supposed to do, because you don't really understand and you're not paying attention to the thing that you're supposed to be doing. It's a class war. And as long as I can keep as many of you as possible, as long as these politicians, as long as these hope dealers, as long as these Hotep and blackety blacks, man, don't you know that the black man hustle has been around for decades, since the civil rights movement? Don't you know they've been selling you black power and make sure that you invest in your community? And man, the majority of y'all not even 100% black. You're not even 5% black. As long as you got 10% of your black. What do you think that is? That's the hustle. That's the thing that keeps you distracted. And so they keep one of those dudes around and they keep them continuing to ask for the cash apps, because they know that as long as you paying attention to that, you're not going to do the thing that's in your best interest, because you believe through them that there's some level of freedom or hope, when in reality there is none. The only hope that you have is to save yourself. It's over. The class war has been in existence for a long time. I've been beating it into your head. You just now realizing that you on a hamster wheel, and you didn't realize that you wasn't moving anywhere, and then you just going in a circle. That's why you keep voting the way that you do. That's why you keep subscribing to the people that you subscribe to. That's why you keep living in this mythical world in your head in which somebody is going to come to save you. Nobody is coming to save you. I can give you the tools that you need in order to be successful, but I can't sell you a course. This is just me personally, and this is no knock against people that sell courses. Listen, there's some good courses, there's some bad courses. I don't know. I've never bought a course. I've never sold a course. I don't have anything to sell you. What I'm trying to tell you is that I can give you the blueprint, but I can't make you walk through the door. I can't open your mind. I can't help you unlearn the BS that you've been exposed to when you continue to subject yourself. This is not a popular conversation. This is not a popular. You know what the more popular conversation for me to be having with you right now is? Jeezy and Jenny Ma, Tiana Taylor and Iman Shumpert. That is the more popular conversation. This is not a popular conversation, the truth, the reality. It's not the thing that you want to hear. It's not the thing that really resonated, but it's the thing that you need. It's the thing that you need. I promise to God, it's the thing that you need. There has been no realer person that is going to come on this internet and tell you the truth about what it is that you're facing. We could sit here and we could talk about all of the most popular things that you want. At the end of the day, it's a distraction from the thing that you're really supposed to be doing that's in your best interest. Not even you, the best interest of your kids. Don't you know that cost has been continuously going up since the beginning of time? Don't you know that the cost of education and student loans is not going to go down, that they're not going to stop offering student loans? Didn't you know, and I told you from the beginning, that they was not going to forgive all of these student loans? What, you thought that was the thing that was going to save you? You didn't know that the fact that he's saying, well, I'm still working on student loans. Listen, they let enough of y'all through the door in order to keep you holding on to the hope so that you can prevent yourself from doing the thing that's really best for you, which was not to be in student loans in the first place. Don't you know that they left enough people? They forgave enough people through other programs just so they can keep you on the hook and have you vote in a certain type of way, knowing that the student loans was never going to be forgiven in the first place, and y'all sat here and y'all argued me down, and you voted a certain type of way, and you thought that they was really going to save you from yourself. When have they ever done that? At what point have the federal government ever came through and saved you from yourself? At what point in history? You really thought that they was going to do something for you. You thought that they had your back. You thought that they was going to give you a leg up. You thought that whole speech about, oh, no, you can't tie your bootstraps by yourself, that was going to do something for you because they was going to come through and Bernie Sanders feel the burn. And Elizabeth Warren, oh, my God. Meanwhile, they rich as all get out. They got their net worth through the roof. All of them. Every single member of Congress is millionaires. They husbands millionaires, they kids is millionaires. It's a power grab. How does a public servant become a millionaire? By dealing you hope. I hope I don't get in trouble for telling y'all this. I hope I don't get in trouble for telling y'all this. I really, because honestly, I've been going down a pathway where I'm just like, man, I better just stop and just deal with the surface level. Everybody keeps telling me, man, Anton, why you don't go deeper on your show? Why you don't address this? Why you don't address that? Because I'm not trying to suffer for you when you don't really even care about yourself. Why would I put myself under the guillotine and prevent myself from getting my 30 million when you don't even care about yourself? Every single one of these public servants are millionaires, and some of them are even billionaires. Listen, why would a millionaire continue to fight so hard to stay in public office and work for a salary that's not even commensurate of what their net worth is. Come on, you ain't putting two to two together? Why would people that have been in office for the last 10, 20, 30, 40 years stay in office? Why are they so much more educated to you that they can make the better financial decisions to make the sacrifices in order to eventually become a millionaire, even though I got a public servant salary? How is that possible? How is that possible? And you going for the okie doke. You just went right on around the ring of them all when you just went for the okie doke. Y'all so busy fighting each other that you're not even barely paying attention to how you getting finessed.